I was following an article a colleague journalist on CNN wrote, and she said COVID is 4 things: health, economics, social, and leadership. That's what she wrote. She said COVID is health. We know why it's health. COVID is economics. That's why everybody's fighting to open. COVID is social. That's why I'm wearing the mask. But she also said COVID is leadership. Now, I didn't know what to make of that, but I think you can explain that to me.
Yes, yes, indeed. I think we've all realized during this period of COVID that leadership matters. We've seen in the type of countries that have thrived, that have responded effectively, it's been because of the kind of leadership they've had within their governments. We've looked at companies that have been able to manage and recover and respond to COVID, and it's because it's the type of leadership. So I think what we're all seeing, and I think Grace this morning also mentioned that one of the key things that enables business, an organization to recover and reboot is leadership. But I think what's important to also emphasize is that it's not any type of leadership. It's no longer just the leadership of old. In fact, there are certain things that leaders used to do previously that you can be sure that will block them from rebooting their businesses. So leaders that center power around themselves will not be able to reboot their businesses. Leaders who are not trustworthy will not be able to reboot their businesses. Leaders who are stuck in certain ways of acting, behaving, thinking cannot reboot their businesses. So yes, leadership matters, but it's not any type of leadership. It's what I'll share later. It's really what I call agile leadership, adaptable leadership.
I like that. I was wondering why you and the journalist chose leadership and not management. Because the natural instinct of people when there is a crisis is to go back into their shell. We know management tries to look backwards, compliance, enforcement. Leadership looks forward, is visionary. Why is that distinction important in a time like this?
Because indeed, and maybe I'll take you through, because many people say, I think you have said that agile leadership, it's a buzzword. And I think the way to unbuzz it is to unpack it.
Unbuzz it
by really explaining what does it look like, so that your audience, your viewers can start to think, okay, do I have the right type of leadership? And let me go through very quickly what are some of the key elements of agile leaders. So one thing all agile leaders do is they're purpose and value driven. And here comes answering your question, the distinction between leadership and management. What does it mean to be purpose and value driven? It means you have an unrelenting focus on your business why. During times of uncertainty, it's very easy to start to think, why are we in business? What are we trying to do? You pivot too fast, you pivot in all directions. But what keeps you centered is your North Star, your purpose. You're clear on this is the value we bring to our customers and our clients, but it's also your value driven. It's about ensuring that the decisions you're making, your culture, your operations are influenced by your values. And more importantly, as a leader, it's seeing that your decision making, and I'm sure, Michael, you've had to make many difficult decisions during this period, but it's ensuring that these difficult decisions are influenced and aligned to your values. So that's the first, purpose and value driven. The second is agile leaders are trustworthy. At this moment of still quite rapid change and uncertainty, people do not follow a leader they do not trust into an uncertain future. So what does it mean to be trustworthy during this period? The first thing is that you put employees and your customers first. And it's clear that you're doing that. I think you talked about that's one of the things you did at ABSA. So it means that it's not just about you as the leader or the senior management team, but it's clear you're thinking about your staff and you're thinking about your customers. Second is you keep promises and you're accountable. So you keep your promises. If you can't deliver, you come back to people and say, this is what has changed. And finally, you're candid as much as possible and transparent about future business strategies and plans. So that's what delivers and helps with the trustworthiness.
I like the way you've buzzed it. So agile leaders are purpose and value driven. And they are trustworthy.
Second is they're trustworthy.
Good. What else?
I'll move on quickly. The third is they're adaptable. And this is what Grace was talking about this morning in terms of being able to pivot. So as a leader, you need to be asking yourself, and it does indeed start with yourself, how am I able to manage change? How am I able to adapt to the new technologies that my company or my business needs to leverage right now? How flexible am I in my thinking? I've come across many leaders who are stuck in thinking in particular ways. Their mental models, their paradigms are so rooted that even though opportunities are emerging, they simply can't shift. And finally, your adaptability is also in your leadership style. I've seen leaders who have a particular strength, and that's all they know. So maybe their strength is they drive things. They're always at the head driving things. Whereas at certain moments, adaptability means, maybe this is the moment not to drive. Maybe this is the moment to take a step back, listen to my team so they feel part of the change. So that is the third element, being adaptable.
Amazing.
The fourth is that agile leaders are connected. They're connected to their customers, they're connected to their employees. And how do you do that? It's by consistent and regular communication with emotional sensitivity. I think we all recognize that change is a time where emotions are raw. People are afraid, they're anxious. And as a leader, you're constantly communicating in a way that you're able to show compassion. I think you mentioned this morning how a lot of people are not happy with the way Trump has been able to communicate or communicated yesterday. They feel like he didn't show the requisite compassion given the rage people were feeling. So constantly communicating and with the emotional sensitivity. It's also about being able to listen. It's not just you sending a message. It's also saying, am I listening to what my customers and clients need? Am I listening to my team that are on the front line, are really seeing the kinds of changes that are coming in so that when you make decisions, they're informed decisions because you're connected? And finally, being connected, and again, Grace mentioned it this morning, is are you connected enough to the changing needs and requirements of your customers and your other stakeholders, government, other regulatory bodies? So that's the fourth one, Bernard, being connected.